Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Bible in 1 Year with the Preacher's Husband. Today we're starting on a new book. This is the book of Joshua. Now, Joshua is one of the historical books, and we're entering into a series where we're going to be reading a lot of the biblical history, the books that are considered historical texts. Now, these history books, so to speak, are Joshua. Let's give you a list. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. Now, these are continuous narratives that we're going to follow, but beginning in Joshua and going through Esther. And this is basically tracing the history of Israel from the conquest of Canaan by Joshua, which is around about 1400 BC when this happens, all the way to the restoration of the Jews during the Persian period, which is about 400 BC. So in these books, we're going to go through a history of about 1,000 years. Now we get into Joshua. Now the book of Joshua itself is naturally divided into 4 sections. The first 5 chapters are basically crossing the Jordan River. Chapters 6 through 12 are essentially taking the land. Chapters 13 through 21 is dividing the land. And then chapter 23 through 24 is worshiping the Lord. That's how they're broken up. And a little tidbit of history. The name Joshua itself means the Lord is salvation. It is the Hebrew equivalent of the name Jesus. I found that very interesting. Yeshua, as they would say, or Joshua. And that's where we get Jesus. So we're going to start out with chapter 1. And in chapter 1, God begins to encourage Joshua right off the bat. Now, some people say that when Moses died, there was this leadership vacuum that happened. Well, I don't see it that way, because Joshua took over pretty quickly when Moses died, and he had been prepared by Moses to take over, and Moses had told everybody, this is who's going to take over when I die. So when he died, guess what? Joshua took over. And I don't see it as being a leadership vacuum, so to speak, because Joshua, he really didn't suck like a vacuum as a leader. He didn't. And he didn't take tons and tons of time to take over as the leader. He looks to me like he went fairly well into it. And later on in chapter 1, Joshua starts to prepare the people for what's about to happen. And in verse 16, they answered Joshua, everything you have commanded us, we will do, and everywhere you send us, we will go. And then verse 17 says this, and this kind of got me tickled. We will obey you just as we obeyed Moses in everything. And I just started laughing because I was like, yeah, they didn't obey Moses. They were punished multiple times by God for not obeying Moses. So I'm wondering how well this is going to go for Joshua right off the bat. Bless his heart. So, chapter 2, we get into some spies, okay? They're basically crossing the Jordan, okay? That's going to happen in a bit. Let's talk about this. So, Joshua sends some spies into Jericho. And when they get to Jericho, some of the people of Jericho saw them coming. They saw them in. They knew who they were, knew what they were doing. And they went and said, listen, these guys are coming. They're scouting us out. We know where Israel is. We know what they've done to these other towns and other countries. They're coming to do the same thing to us. They're going to come and take us over. So they go looking for him. And they find him they go looking for him at this lady named Rahab. She's a prostitute. And she takes them in and hides them up in her rafters, essentially up in the hay loft, the thatching of her house there. And they come looking for the spies, but she's like, they're not here. Oh, they went that way. Go over there. They just left the town. They went out yonder direction. Y'all go find them. So they run off after the spies. And of course, she said, okay, safe. Y'all come down there. Y'all go this way. But in the meantime, she said, but when you come to take over, please do me one favor. Don't kill me and my family. And they said, okay, all you're going to do is you're going to hang this scarlet cord on your door or on your window that they let them down. See, she lowers this this rope down the window to let them out the window, because they were actually built in. Their house was actually built into the side of the wall of the town there, the city. So she did this. She hung the scarlet cord up there, and they went on. So then comes crossing the Jordan. Now this was an interesting event here, the crossing the Jordan. When they actually started to cross the Jordan, they sent the Holy of Holies across the Jordan. And what happens but another Red Sea event, another spectacular, miraculous Red Sea event. And of course, they picked up those 12 stones, the memorial stones that we read about in chapter 4, to carry across. And at one point, it talks about Joshua stacking the 12 stones in the middle of the Jordan, and in another one, it shows them carrying the 12 stones off to a memorial site. And that's the end of chapter 4. Now, tomorrow we're going to continue in Joshua. I do not have my list of where we're going in Joshua tomorrow, but I will look it up for you right away. Tomorrow we are going into Joshua chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 4 more chapters of Joshua tomorrow. And I will tell you, I enjoyed reading through Joshua. It reads like a historical story, and there's drama in it, and it's excitement in it. And I think we should look at this as an exciting story time, so to speak. Some historical stories about the Bible and the characters in the Bible. Joshua's off to a good start. Let's see how he does tomorrow. Hit that like button and that subscribe button, and of course click the little jingle bell so you can get updated the next time I upload a video, which will be tomorrow. We'll see you then.